Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Welcome. So it's Saturday, the 20th of January, and I'm back in the kitchen and I'm going to be baking today. So I don't bake much, but today I am going to be baking some brownies. So what it is, I'm going to be, for my day job, I'm going to be baking tomorrow. And I always like to do a run through, always like to do a trial, bit of a run through, so that I know the recipe, I know the ingredients, I know whether I need to change or adapt anything. But also, with something like this, I like to freeze it to see how it's going to freeze, or how it stores, etc. So I do all of that run through before I do it live for my day job tomorrow. So that's what I thought. I'm making them today. So I thought I'll just do a live for you so you can jump on and you can see what I'm doing. So I can see I've got somebody with me. So good afternoon. Hope you are well. Hope you're all good. So we're doing rich chocolate brownies today. I've never made this recipe before. I've made brownies several times in the past, but I've never made this particular recipe. And if you are following the Weight Watchers plan, like I am, this recipe is in the app. So feel free to check it out. So I'm really excited to try this recipe because there's a few unusual ingredients in this brownie recipe, very unusual. And that's the other reason why I really wanted to check it out, and to make it beforehand. So I'm going to follow the recipe verbatim. When I'm cooking for myself, if you've ever seen me, you know I just like to mix it up. I go do it as I go along. I am creative, but seeing as I'm doing this recipe for work for my day job tomorrow, I am going to follow it verbatim. So bear with, bear with, bear with. So I can see I've got somebody with me. How are you? I hope you are well. Oh, I've got two people with me. How are you? I hope you're well. I hope you're both having a lovely Saturday afternoon. And I hope that the weather is not as cold wherever you are. I hope it started to lift a little bit. Um, so, right, I'm following the recipe verbatim. It is, we need to get the oven on. It is 180 on an electric, 160 on a gas. Oh, sorry, 180 electric, 160 on fan oven and gas mark 4. Okay, so I'm using a fan oven, so I'm just going to double check the temperature. 150, 160, so that's going to be about right. And then, so the oven is on, and then we need a tin. So it calls for a square cake tin, 20 centimeters by 20 centimeters. This is roughly 20 centimeters by 20 centimeters. And I've lined it and I've greased it. And I'm going to show you how I line my tins, because lining cake tins are not easy. They're not easy. So I'll just take this out and show you. So there's my square tin, and I've just put a little bit of like spread in the bottom of it and around the sides. And then I cut 2 strips of paper, lining paper, and the one I pop down lengthways like that. And obviously I make sure that it's going to fit. Okay, so it goes right up in the corner. So one goes lengthways, and we want some hang over the edge because it's just going to be easy to lift out the tin then. So one goes lengthways, and the other one is going to go the opposite way. So it's a bit tricky because I've already greased it. But there we go. And the other one goes the opposite way. And that is how easy it is to line it in. Whereas in the past, I used to try and cut it and snip the corners and squeeze it inside. And it was a bit of a faff and was always a disaster. But that's just how I do it now. And then I've got enough overhang, so when it's done, I can just lift it out. And then I've greased the paper, the top of the paper, and all around the sides as well. So there we go. That's my tin all ready. And now we're going to get baking. So how are you? Oh, hi, Angela. Thank you so much for being here with me this afternoon. It's lovely to have you. I hope you're doing well. I hope you are enjoying your Saturday afternoon. So I was at work this morning. Excuse me whilst I clean my nose. There you go. You don't want to say that. You don't want to say that. I'm just going to rinse my hands. There we go. So I was at work this morning. Did an hour. And I was supposed to be going out. I was supposed to go out and meet my friends for coffee, but it's just been so cold. It's just really knocked me about these past few days. And yesterday, I don't know if anybody suffers with Raynaud's disease, but I'm sure I had my first serious case of Raynaud's yesterday evening. And my hands, my fingers, especially this middle one, it was like I was dead. There was just no colour in my hand. It went complete, and it was both. They went completely white, like the blood had drained from them completely, and they were tingling, and they were so painful. So I'm just going to keep an eye on that. So I decided I'm not going to go out today. So I was working this morning, and then I just thought, you know what? I'm going to do my baking, which is my prep for tomorrow. And then I'm going to rest. The house is nice and clean. Did that the other day. And topped it up yesterday. Vacuumed and shampooed the carpet. The rug, I should say. Did that. So the house is lovely and clean. I've got my candles burning. It's really nice and relaxing. So after this, I'm going to put my feet up. And I'm going to catch up with my soaps, first of all. And, of course, watch some YouTube. I love YouTube. There's loads of channels I love. I'm going to do a bit of that. So the oven is on. It's all warming through. And what I've got here is some dark chocolate. I should tell you what ingredients we need, just in case you want to make this after. So I'll run through the ingredients. But as I say, if you're following the WeightWatchers plan, the recipe is in the app. But if you're not following WeightWatchers, I know lots of you who watch me are not, then that's fine. I will tell you the ingredients. So we're going to need half a tin of black beans. So just some black beans and half a tin. I know half a tin is non-specific, but I weighed it out and it came to 110 grams. That is drained. So I've got half a tin, 110 grams of black beans. We're going to need some unsweetened coffee. And that's one of the unusual ingredients. And that's why I wanted to test this recipe out. We're going to need some low-fat spread, 110 grams of low-fat spread. And I'm using this Vitalite. And the reason I use this, it's because it's dairy-free. And it means, you know what? No, when I bake, I use this. So my grandson, who is got allergy, is dairy intolerant, he can have some. So when I bake, I usually, this is my standard go-to, so my grandson can have some. But I just realised he can't have it anyway because there's chocolate in here, and chocolate's got milk, so he can't have it, which is disappointing. I'm going to rinse this off soon as it's been on the floor. There you go. I'll just leave that to drain. Yeah, it's disappointing, so I can't give him any to bring. He's coming to see Nanny tomorrow, so I can't give him any. So we need unsweetened, the coffee, we need some spread. We need 110 grams of dark chocolate. So what I've done, I've taken the chocolate, I'm breaking it up, and it's melting here, okay? And we're going to need 4 large eggs, 250 grams of caster sugar, a pinch of salt, and 125 grams of plain white flour. So there's the ingredients. So what I've done, I've got this bain-marie. So I've got this pot, and I've just half filled it with hot water. It's on the gas, so the water is hot. I've got my bowl, and then I've just put my chocolate in, and the chocolate, as you can see, is melted beautifully. You can put the chocolate in the microwave if you want to, but do remember only to put it in for like 10-second bursts at a time, because the chocolate can burn really, really quickly in the microwave. I did that once. I left it, and oh my days, it burned terrible. But it's not just the burn, it's the smell that gets left behind in the kitchen. So yeah, so doing it on the bain-marie on gas. Okay, so I've got my mixing bowl, and you will need some kind of food processor as well. Okay, so let's get going. I'm following the recipe verbatim, so I'll tell you what the recipe says. So it says preheat the oven 180 on an electric, 160 for a fan, and gas mark 4. And we misted our cake tin, and we lined it. Now we need, in a blender or a mini food processor, blitz the black bean and coffee until it is smooth. Okay, so I've got me blitzer here, and I'm going to add me black beans. Now I've never ever, I suppose that's why it's a rich, what am I trying to say? It's a rich brownie. It's rich because of the coffee. So it's going to be interesting how this tastes. So I need 60 mils of unsweetened coffee. So I'm just putting my water in there. So I've just got to, let's see. Yeah, that's about 70 mils. That'll be absolutely fine. I'm going to put in a spoonful of coffee. I've never ever made my brownies like this. And I'm going to probably put in 1.5 teaspoons. It doesn't tell you how much to put in. That's why I like to test my recipes, especially if I'm doing it for work, which I will be tomorrow. Yeah, it doesn't tell you. It just says 160. So it tells you 60 mil. It tells you 60 mils of unsweetened coffee. And when I read that, I didn't know whether it was coffee like this or just coffee granules. It's not specific. But this is what we're going to do. I've got 1.5 teaspoons of coffee with some hot water. Oh, I love the smell of coffee, don't you? I love the smell of it. I had my nails done yesterday. So if you were with me yesterday, I was saying that my nails were minging. They were hanging off. So yesterday afternoon, I went and got them done. So I'm really pleased with them. And she was like, because I've got crooked fingers, she started twisting my fingers to get them straight. And oh, it was not the most pleasant experience. But it was worth it because now my nails look really nice. So hot pink is the colour. And I have this colour on my toes as well. Yeah, hot pink. I used to always have hot pink, and she was like, Angela, try a different colour. So I started having different colours, and yeah, was really exploring all the different colours. in the summer when the Barbie movie was out, I had like a Barbie pink. Oh, I loved it. I've had oranges, all sorts of colours. Yeah. So, you know, nice to experiment. So I'm popping this on. I'm going to blitz it. So let's get that on. And I'm going to blend it. Oh, why is it not? Oh, there we go. There we go. It wasn't on properly. Okay. I'm going to blend it. Excuse the noise. Okay. That's how it's looking. And I can tell straight away that that is thick. So I'm going to add in a little bit more water. Yeah, that is, it's really, really proper thick. So I'm going to add in a bit more water. And give it a shake. And sometimes when you're cooking, even if you're following a recipe, you still have to be, you know, add a bit of initiative in it. So I'm just going to blitz this again. There we go. There we go. So, you know, you still have to use a little bit of initiative even when you're cooking from recipes, because, you know, recipes are not 100% foolproof, and you do have to just look at things and judge things and make a judgment about things. So this is now much better. Oh, it smells nice as well with the coffee. Okay, so let's see the next step of the recipe. Okay, so what does it say? So in a blender or mini food processor, blitz the black bean and coffee until smooth and then set aside. Okay, then it says to melt the chocolate, which the chocolate here is melting. And make sure the bottom of the bowl doesn't touch the water in the pan, and keep on a very low heat. And that's really important because you don't want your chocolate to burn. So if it's touching the water, the bottom of the bowl can get really hot and burn your chocolate. So always like leave a gap. So maybe half fill or put 3/4 of the water in your pan, and then put your bowl over, and then all that steam, all the heat is going to melt the chocolate, and it's melted absolutely beautifully. So I'm using this chocolate. It's Tesco's dark cooking chocolate. And this has got, even chocolate has got protein in, guys. Yeah, it's got 7.2 grams of protein. And dark chocolate contains a lot less sugar. It's still got like 43 grams of sugar in, but it's a lot less than milk chocolate or white chocolate. It's got more of the solid cocoa solid. Okay, so what we're going to do now, so in a medium bowl, use an electric mixer and beat the eggs and sugar until fluffy. So I'm going to get where's my bowl gone? This is my bowl from my cake mixer. I didn't want to bring my cake mixer out just to do that. So what we're gonna do? I'm gonna use a whisk, a hand whisk. Yeah, hand whisk will do a great job. So I need 4 eggs. Got 2 in here. I do have some more. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So what are you up to today, guys? What you got planned for the rest of the day? Are you like me and just relaxing and taking it easy? Or are you going to be going out, seeing family and friends, maybe a bit of shopping? Or, you know, are you going to be pottering that around the house? What are you up to today? I was supposed to be going out to see my friends. We were meeting for coffee, but because it's so flipping cold, I was just like, you know what, I really just don't feel like it. I just want to stay home and keep warm. So that's why I'm in the kitchen with you now. So share with me, what are you doing? So I've got my 4 eggs in here, and it said to add the caster sugar. So you can use any other type of sugar that you've got, but the caster sugar is going to make it really, really light. I can smell the, oh, okay, so I thought I had something in the oven. So we need, how much is it? 250 grams of caster sugar. So a fair bit of caster sugar all going in there. And I'm just going to whisk it by hand. If you do have like a food processor or you know, one of those fancy ones to bake cakes in, feel free to use that. I do have one of them in the cupboard, which is where this is from. It's kind of like a KitchenAid, but it's the little version. So KitchenAids are beautiful. They're beautiful contraptions, like a cake mix. But they're about 500 quid. And they look amazing. They've got a very vintage look, like from the 50s and 60s. Very vintage look. And they're flipping expensive. 500-600 quid they are. But I got mine 50 quid. 50 quid from Lidl. And I know Aldi's do them as well around that price. And they're brilliant. And obviously they're not a KitchenAid. They're not that KitchenAid brand, but they do the same job. They've got the paddles and everything, exactly the same. I don't use it very often because I don't bake very often. And that's why I'm glad I didn't get one at 500 quid, because I couldn't justify it. But we won at 50 quid, that's fine, absolutely fine. So I need to beat this. This is not an easy job for me today, I'm afraid. But let's just see how we go. I'm trying to break up my sugar as well. My sugar is in clumps. What sort of things do you bake, guys? Do you bake? And if so, what sort of things do you enjoy baking? Do you know what I'm going to do? Because this is a job for me. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to add it into here and blitz it all together there. That's what I'm going to do. Because where there's a will, there's a way. And at the end of the day, it's all going to be mixed up together. So, yeah, that's what I'm going to do. Make it a bit easy for myself. Yeah. So, let's put this on. And excuse the noise, one moment. I'm going to put it on the mix mode, because on here I've got blend, maximum blend, I've got chop, puree and mix, and I'm going to mix it. There we go, all mixed, all mixed. How easy was that? I'm going to pour it all back into my container. There we go. And that, it should all work. I can't see why it won't work. It should all work. I'm just going to give it another bit of a mix. There we go. So much easier, so much easier. Okay, so let's see what the next step is. Oh, Angela, baked oats, oat bread, Victoria sponge, and fruit diabetic oat loaf. Oh, I'm liking the sound of those. Those are the sort of things you bake. Lovely, lovely. Sounds delicious. Do let me know, Angela, if you're following the Weight Watchers plan or if you found me elsewhere on YouTube. How did you find me? Do let me know. So where are we now? So in the medium bowl, use an electric mixer, beat the eggs and sugar until light and fluffy. And with the mixer on low speed, add the melted chocolate to the eggs and mix well. Okay, so I need to be careful with this because this is hot. So I'm going to just take it off and very gently just add the chocolate. Oops. Oh, add the chocolate in without dropping the bowl. That would be helpful. Add that chocolate all in, let's say. This indeed is going to be very, very rich. I'm going to have to switch hands. There we go. This dark chocolate just smells absolutely yummy. There we go. Got the chocolate in. So it says, melt the chocolate with the eggs and mix well. Add the black bean mixture. So all of that was mixed up together. So we're good to go. So I'm just mixing this all up together. There we go. And then we need to add in vanilla and a pinch of salt. So how much vanilla was it? A teaspoon. 1 teaspoon of vanilla extra. So let's have a look. That's a tablespoon. 1 teaspoon. So I'm using this. I get this from Tesco's in the Caribbean food aisle. Yeah. You can get, smells like chocolate's burning, but I think it's just the richness of this, the chocolate. Yeah, because there's nothing in the oven. So this is McClass vanilla. It cost me about three or £4, but it's huge. You can get like the little vanilla essences for about £1, but the value, it's fantastic. This smells divine. Oh my, do you know what? I could swim in this. I really could. It smells delicious, really delicious. So we're going to add in a teaspoon, sorry, not a tablespoon, a teaspoon. There we go, to that flavour. And then we're going to add in a pinch of salt. And salt is really good for just bringing out that flavour. Oh, Angela, thank you. You found me on YouTube. Yeah, thank you so much for finding me and being here. I appreciate you, my lovely. And if you're not in my Facebook group, if you're on Facebook, feel free to join me in my Facebook group as well. And my Facebook is Time Out with Angela in brackets group. Feel free to join me. And you also make a chocolate chickpea cake. Yeah. Do you know what? There's a real trend towards using things like chickpeas, beans, like we've used the black beans in baking. because it's a great way for gluten-free, to swap out and make recipes gluten-free, instead of using a lot of flour. We are using flour today, but if you didn't want to use flour, just use a whole tin of black beans as an alternative. Yeah, but there's this real trend towards using chickpeas and kidney beans and black beans, as butter beans as well, as a great alternative to using flour. Okay, so what else have we got to do now? Then, so we've added in the black beans, the chocolate, the vanilla, and the salt, and we've now got to add in the flour, and we need 125 grams of plain flour. So, do you know, if you like to sieve your flour, feel free to do that. I don't. I just literally shake it in, and that's it. And now I'm gonna cut and fold, that cut and fold method, like, you know, back in the day at school when we were learning to cook, or they were teaching us to cook various dishes, because I learned to cook from at home from my parents, but it was enhanced when I went into school, I should add. So we're gonna just cut and fold, and I learned this cut and fold method from school as well, which is, you know, that cut and fold, cut and fold. And then there was the figure of eight as well. Yeah, so all those little techniques I learned in school. So that's what I'm doing. I'm going to do a bit of the figure of eight as well. That way we're just mixing it all in. So I can see, and you know, this is why I absolutely, it's so worth testing these recipes out, because in my day job, some people watching will know me from my day job, but other people like yourself, Angela, don't know me from the day job. But in my day job, part of my day job is I cook, and I do healthy cooking. I'm not a chef, but I do enjoy cooking. And in my day job, I try to inspire people to make healthy recipes and to make healthy swaps, so that on their health and wellness journey, they could lose weight, maintain weight, and be healthy. And I've lost 114 pounds to date on my journey, just over 8 stone. So things like having your chocolate brownies, absolutely fine. Is, you know, you can absolutely have them, but it's about making them healthy, managing your portions, you know, and just having control over what you eat, and when you know, and how much. So what I'm doing is I'm going to be making this recipe tomorrow live in my day job. So what I like to do is I like to create the recipe or do the recipe beforehand, because when I'm showing this recipe, I'm doing it live in front of a live audience. And there is absolutely nothing worse than doing it live and it's gone wrong. Absolutely nothing worse. And I've already spotted 2 errors. 2 errors. So I didn't sieve my flour, and I'll have to do that tomorrow because it's coming up a little bit lumpy, and that's why I'm just whisking it to knock out those lumps. And the second thing is, I think I put a little bit too much water in. So it's a little bit runny. It's a little bit runny. So when I do it tomorrow, I will just stick to the 60 ml of water and then add in the eggs and blitz it all together, so that the eggs provide the moisture rather than adding in the extra water. So yeah, that's what I'm going to do. But as I say, that's why I always like to try recipes before I actually make them live, because yeah, because I often think there's sometimes people cook alongside me, and if I tell them something like add a bit of extra water, it could be end up disaster. And as we know, ingredients is expensive, food is expensive. So I do like to trial it beforehand. Oh, it's hard work. My arms are hurting. My arms are hurting when I'm beating it. So I'm just going to go really gently. But using a whisk is definitely knocking out those lumps. So tomorrow, use less water and also sieve the flour. Definitely need to do that. So this is looking all right, actually. Now that a lot of that flour has been knocked out, it's looking a lot smoother. It's still a little bit runny, but I'll have to bake it and see how it turns out. So yeah, there you go, guys. There you go. So let me just double check. Forgot to add in the butter. What am I like? That's what happens when I follow a recipe. I'm no good at following recipes. So let's have a little look. Right, let's try and get my iPad back up and running. Okay, so I'm just seeing where it says to add the in a blender or mini food processor, blitz the black bean and coffee until smooth and set aside. We did that. Then melt the chocolate and spread. I should have melted the chocolate and the spread together. Should have done that together, but that's fine. I'm just going to add it straight in now. I'm going to add it all in because we need that. I was thinking that this something just didn't look right. So I'm going to have to just give this a good stir in. You'll have to bear with me, guys, because this is hard work stirring this and my arms are hurting. Yeah. See, if I wasn't following the recipe, I'd have just been thinking, right, this is in next, this is in next, this is in next. But as I say, I'm following the recipe and it's not my strength. It's not my strength. So good thing I looked back and I checked before I poured it into the tin. But seeing as this is a spread, it's going in really, really nicely. So just stirring this in. It's melted in really, really nicely. And it's also thickened. The mixture is a bit thicker now. So yeah, that's all good. That is all good. So I think that's everything. Double check. Yeah, everything is all in. And now, time to add it to my baking tin. So we're just gonna now literally that look, it's got a lovely colour. Now that it's got the butter, the spreading, it's gone a lighter shade and it looks lovely. So we're just gonna pour that all in. If you are wanting portion control, you could actually put this into like a muffin tin, muffin cases, or if you've got those silicone cases for like cake bars and things like that, you could actually pour it in there and it's just going to help with that, with the portion control a little bit more. So let's get this all in. Now, because this is, we've used plain flour, this isn't going to rise. There's no rise on it. So we're going to be good. This is it's filling up right to the top. It's going to be good. There's no rise. But tomorrow I've got a slightly bigger tin. Tomorrow I might do this in the bigger tin. So we've got that all out. So that is absolutely full. It's full right to the top, as you can see. I always just do like to give it a tap. And that just expels any air out of it. And there we go, guys. That's going straight in the oven now. So I have a sip of water. I'm gonna pop this on my tray, nice and gently. And there we go. And so that's straight in the oven now. So we're going to leave that for, just double check. 25 to 30 minutes. 25 to 30 minutes. And then we're going to take it out, and it serves 24. So if you're following the Weight Watchers plan, it is 6 points per portion, and it serves 24. So you're going to get 24 really nice, good pieces out of this for 6 points each. So whilst that is on the mend, whilst that's cooking, what I want to do is I want to use some of these. I'm going to just chuck this hot water out, and I'm going to use the pot, because yesterday, if you were with me yesterday, I had some leftover fruit, and I made a compote, and I have to say that was ridiculously delicious. Oh my days, it was truly, truly, truly delicious. So I had some, and I shared it in my Facebook group. It was so good. And then when I went out, got my nails done, and then went and saw my grandkids, and I got back in the evening, and I had some with the yogurt. It was so good. And I've got some left in the fridge. And it was so good, I thought, you know what? After I've made me brownie, we're going to make some more. But I'm going to use the apples that I've got. So I'm going to make an apple compote with these. So I'm just going to give these a quick wash, guys. In fact, I might use a few more. Yeah. So these are some apples that I got. Guess where I got them from, guys? Yeah, I got them from Tesco's, in my Tesco's shopping haul. So got them in my Tesco's shopping haul, and I want to just use them up now. And this compote is absolutely the one I made yesterday. Oh my days! Honestly, it was. When I say it was proper banging, it was proper banging. It really, really, really was. So the one I made yesterday was plum It was plums with grapes. I had a few grapes left over and some plums. So I'm going to just use up these apples. And I'm going to make this compote. I'm going to show you how I make the compote. And then I'm going to save it, put it in the fridge. And I'm going to use similar compote as with my overnight oats. But I'm also going to make an apple crumble. I'm not going to do the crumble today because I'm feeling a bit tired. I'm just going to get this compote on, and then I'm going to show you how I make my compote, my apple compote. And then tomorrow I'm going to make my crumble. So, you know, feel free to come back tomorrow or watch it on replay as I make the crumble. But this is just a really good way of using any fruits that are left over. Because, you know, don't ever throw your fruits away, guys. Don't ever throw them away. You could just do this compote that is so simple. And it's going to be a super savoury, super tasty base for apple crumbles, apple pies, anything like that. It's going to be delicious. Now, I'm not following this from a recipe. This isn't a recipe base. This is just me being creative. And this is the style of cooking that I love. I just love you know, being really creative and experimental. So I'm just going to chuck these in. Just chop them roughly. Don't have to be perfect. Ooh. Just shake it out. Just shake it out. Where there's a will, there's a way. Just shaking it out. And you know, when I'm like having a reasonable day like today, when I'm having a reasonable day like today, I like to do as much as I can. And then I've got it all in the fridge and in the freezer. So when I'm not able to, I know that I've got good quality food available. Because, you know, it's easy to take it for granted that we've got tomorrow. You know, we think we've got tomorrow. None of us have got tomorrow. You know, so I like to do what I can when I can. Which means that when I am able, I cook, and I've got a freezer full of food, so that like on days like tomorrow or like this evening, because I'm feeling really tired now, but I know that I don't have to stand up and cook dinner because I've got loads in the freezer, you know, so it just really helps me. Because back in the day, when I felt like this and I felt tired, I would have just ordered a takeaway. I'd have ordered a takeaway, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with having takeaways, but they're not always the healthiest. So having food already prepped and prepared just saves me. You know, it really makes a difference. So I'm just chopping up the apples. As many apples as you've got, as many as you want to use, will absolutely work for this. Even if you've just got one apple, you know, or even just a tiny bit of fruit, it will absolutely work. Absolutely work. And then my last apple. There we go. There we go. Right. So, all my apples are in my pot. All my apples have washed. I've taken out the core and I've just popped them in my pot. And what we're going to do is we're going to add some water. So I'm going to add in, it's just, I don't know, I'd say about just enough just to cover the bottom of the pot. We don't want too much water, just enough to cover the bottom of the pot. And then we're going to add in some ingredients. I was going to use caster sugar, but I'm going to use soft brown sugar. I've got all these different sugars, all these different ones. So I'm going to add in some chia seed, a tablespoon of chia seed. And somebody who was with me yesterday suggested adding that in. And oh my days, it was beautiful. It really thickened up the compote. It's beautiful. So I'm adding, in fact, I'm going to add in 2 tablespoons because I've got a lot of apples here. And then I'm going to add in 2 tablespoons of my soft brown sugar. So apples are quite sweet anyway, so we don't need a huge amount of sugar. But if you do like it sweet, I'll put a little bit more in. And then I'm going to add in a teaspoon of vanilla essence, because apples and vanilla goes beautifully. Good teaspoon of that. And then I'm also going to add in some ginger. Brownies, some ginger and some cinnamon. Apple and cinnamon is a beautiful combo. So I'm going to add in about a good teaspoon of ginger. Fresh ginger would work beautifully with this, but I haven't got the energy to start grating the ginger, to be fair. So, as I said, I feel really tired today. Normally I'm not this tired at this time of day. I just feel really tired. Probably coming down with something. In fact, that was probably why my hands were really bad yesterday. I just maybe feeling a bit under the weather. Yeah, I do feel really kind of, yeah, I don't feel myself today. Don't feel myself. But we're nearly done anyway, guys. We're nearly done. So I'm just gonna, oh gosh, this smells incredible. Oh my days. So let's turn this back off. Let me show you. So I've got my apples all chopped up. I've got a little bit of water just to cover the bottom. 2 tablespoons of chia seeds. I've got 2 tablespoons of sugar and some cinnamon and ginger. Yeah. So I'm going to bring this to the boil. In fact, I'm going to put a little bit more water in because we're going to stew it. The apples are going to stew. So we want it to about half cover the apples. So it's not covering the apples fully. We're just going to half cover them. So we're going to bring it to the boil. Don't throw that away. I'm going to chop these in the bin. So we're going to bring it to the boil, and then we're going to turn the gas down and let it simmer. I'm going to put a lid on. Well, it's going to be my plate. I need to sort out some lids for my pots. I think I'm going to treat myself to some new pots with lids. Yeah, that'll be a little treat for me. So with this compote, what I'm going to do, when it's all cooked down, I'm going to put it in jars, and I'm going to save some for my overnight oats in the week, but I'm also going to use it as a base for my apple crumbles. So tomorrow, feel free to come back. If you're in my Facebook group, I'll let you know what time I'm going to go live. But if you're not in my Facebook group, which is fine, then do ensure you click the notification bell here on the channel, because as soon as I go live, you'll be the first to know. You'll get a notification. So this is now started to boil. It's come to the boil. It smells amazing. It really does. And I'm going to leave this now. I'm going to turn the gas down. And I'm going to leave this now to simmer. And I'm going to probably leave it for about a good half an hour. And then I'm going to come back and check it. And when I check it, I'm going to taste it. All my phone's going. I'm going to come back, check it and taste it. And add a little bit more sugar or vanilla or a spice if I need. So there we go. So I'm going to put my lid on my plate. And yeah, I'm just going to have a little quick look. Oh, my brownie's looking good. My brownie's looking good. What I will do, guys, I'm going to sign off now because I feel like I've run a marathon. Yeah, I think I'm coming down with something. Just feel a bit unwell, so I'm gonna sign off now. But I will post in my Facebook group. I will post an update on Facebook for you. So if you're not in my Facebook group, feel free to join me. It's Time Out with Angela in brackets group. I will post there. Well, thank you so much for being with me. I really, really appreciate you. Thank you. So yeah, we've been together now. Yeah, 58 minutes. So we've made brownies, which is in the oven, and we've got another compote on. So if you've just joined me at any point and you missed the beginning, when I finish this live, feel free to go back to the beginning and watch the whole thing again. Feel free to do that. And also feel free to watch any of my other lives or any of my other videos as well. It really does help me out. We are on the road to 2,000 watch hours, and I'm hoping to hit that this weekend. Okay, guys, that is it from me. I'm going to go make a drink, put my feet up and have a bit of a rest because I don't feel very well. Anyway, I will see you very soon. Whatever you're doing today, have a lovely, lovely, lovely day, and I'll see you soon. Take care, guys. Bye.